Good morning, degenerates, and welcome to another episode of Boring Crypto IO, place where I read you the boring crypto news every morning, Monday through Friday, just so you don't have to. It's Monday. I'm not awake. I'm still in Florida, still on vacation, still hungover, and the news is still boring. Let's get it. Gary Gensler's Bitcoin ETF position is inconsistent, says Gary Gensler. I watched a short clip from this video that just surfaced yesterday of Gary basically telling everybody that the fact that we have a Bitcoin futures, and that we don't have a spot Bitcoin ETF is very odd, and it doesn't make sense, meaning we should have both. Yet here he is now as the head of the SEC years later, not approving any of them. What is wrong with this dude? Anyways, let's see what this article says. Unfortunately, I won't be able to play a video because for some reason the audio doesn't show up, but I strongly recommend you go find this article and watch the video if you're very interested in it. And outside of that, VanEck amends application for spot Bitcoin ETF. The fact that they haven't been denied, but they are changing their application, things inside of the application, still positive, if that makes sense. Take a coffee break and we'll go right to the market. Okay, to the market, guys. All right, right now, current market cap sitting at 1.28 trillion, up 1.39% from yesterday. Current Bitcoin dominance continuing to tick up, 52.9% for Bitcoin. ETH dominance at 17.1, 15 Gwei will get you an ETH transaction, and fear and greed sitting at 72. Kind of been hovering there for a few days now. Expected some volatility over the weekend. Unfortunately, we didn't get it. Oh well. Let's blow through the top 100 and see what's going on. Not much going on with Bitcoin and Ethereum. Still up pretty good, though, for the week for those two top cryptos. We've got Solana's moving still. We got 7.56 on a day for Solana, waking up and charging forward. I'm curious to see what the rest of the market's going to do when the traditional market opens up. 5.82 for Avalanche to the upside. 6.92 for Monero. Privacy coins, privacy tokens, what do we want to call them? 8% to the upside for ICP. ICP is now starting to show its head. I have a tiny bag of ICP. I probably should have got more, but I just, believe it or not, I got sidetracked by things like INJ and PAL, and I just honestly forgot about ICP. Right. I'm an idiot. What can I say? Okay, up 23% for the week on ICP. $4.06. I still think it's a really good buy. 5.83 for Near Protocol. 5.2 for Aave. Injective slightly cooling off. We're down 1.84 after our over 50% pump last week. Not bad, guys. If you got in on that, congratulations. If you're trading, take some profits. It's a bag. It's a long-term bag of mine, so I will not be taking profits. I'm letting it ride. Just making you guys aware of what I'm doing. I'm not saying that's advice or what you should do. If you got in for the pump, take your profits, man. Get the fuck out. Find another pump. 5.76 for Rune. 6.23 for Algorand. I mean, Jesus. We got a mini alt cycle going on. Alt season. 15.5 for Axie Infinity. 5.37 for eGold. 8.79 for Sand. Metaverse showing some signs of strength. 8.12 for Decentraland. Again, Sand and Decentraland moving. Metaverse projects. I wonder what the rest of them look like. 15.39% for Gala Games. Okay, so we're looking at Metaverse and gaming. Okay, play to earn. And 7.5 for Arware. I'm not even sure what that is. And that's it for your top 100. Rose still holding good 23.37% last week. Okay, guys, on the Bitcoin. So on Saturday, you guys looked at, because I'm an idiot and you got a video on Saturday. This is the idea that I left you with. We're gonna delete this because this pretty much hasn't played out yet. That would still be the bullish move I'd like to see. But we've continued just to range here inside of the 33642 up to 34581. Guys, not going to spend too much time on Bitcoin today because that's what we're looking at. This is still potentially a little flag. We're going to get rid of this guy. Maybe doing something like this. Some kind of symmetrical triangle. Possibility. If this is what we're looking at, we're looking for a potential decision to be made here real soon. Downside, upside, I don't know. I gotta be honest. It's looking strong to me. This looks like it's gonna break to the upside to me, but I could be wrong. Again, patterns like this, over time only give you, I think it's like a 68% advantage. So this could still go to the downside. You know the levels that we've been talking about. If we do break to the downside, with this low volume or this rip right here, not a lot of price action in between it. The potential for this thing to roll completely over and go all the way back down to 30 is very strong. Don't forget that. But the market does look bullish. The market does look strong. So I would assume this is going to break to the upside. That's where my bets would be. But again, stop losses, things like that. Be ready for it. But that's it, guys. That's all I'm really looking at Bitcoin. And everything else that I'm kind of looking at is showing the same kind of position, either a flag, a pennant, or a potential symmetrical triangle like we're looking at right now. Like, for example, ETH, same kind of thing, kind of like a flag. I think you get two fake outs here, that's whatever. But just this sideways action consolidating between a very tight range. XRP, same thing. ADA is actually broken out of a very, very long, old downward trend line. And is actually doing an ascending channel, which we might get a correction out of because these actually eventually breaks the downside. But the trend is your friend until the end. Keep an eye on ADA to continue to bounce around in this channel until it makes a decision whether it wants to break back down to the downside or continue moving to the upside. What I would look for somewhere in between here. This is all on the 4-hour. So if ADA does break to the downside, guys, I would look for a retest of this blue downward trend line, which is like a weekly trend line I was looking at, if I remember correctly. It's daily or weekly. So this has been a downward trend line on ADA for quite some time. Since all the way back in May, early May. And we just broke out of it. So if we do break to the downside, I would look for a potential retest at the top of that trend line. Because that ascending wedge is great while you're playing a trend, but eventually these do kind of correct and go to the downside. And I don't always correct, but break out of this trend and start another kind of pattern, something like that. Injective, same kind of thing. We've got these flags going on, guys. We ripped out of the one here. We're kind of doing another weird sideways flaggish thing, but a lot of the market looks like this right now. FET, same kind of thing. And PAL. This is everything I'm kind of looking at right now. PAL actually tanked for a half a second and got bought right the fuck back up. Strong, very strong. Makes me excited. But outside of that, guys, this isn't financial advice, nor am I a financial advisor. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm even a terrible trader. I'm just some dude sitting in a room in Florida, staring at a computer screen, drawing lines like Microsoft Paint. My lady's laughing at me. one of the coffee cups in the Airbnb we're staying at. It's a big red coffee cup, says Jesus loves you, and he does. All right, on to the news. Let's rock and roll. Gary Gensler's Bitcoin ETF position is inconsistent, says Gary Gensler. What? During a panel in a 2019 MIT Bitcoin Expo, Gensler called out the securities regulator for its inconsistent approach to spot Bitcoin ETF approvals. Gary Gensler once criticized the United States securities regulator for its inconsistent approach on spot Bitcoin products, according to a resurfaced video of Gensler from 2019. A lot of this shit keeps popping up with this dude when he was in MIT that completely contradicts the way he's been acting inside of the SEC, which could be one thing, or one of two things, I guess I could say. Excuse me. Either he's a weirdo and an egotistical maniac that just wants to rule it all by the SEC, so he's trying to call everything securities so he can, they can regulate it completely themselves. Or someone's leaning on him. And it might be both. Either way, the dude has been caught multiple times saying the exact opposite of the actions he's taken while he's been in the SEC. Coffee break. Give me a second. All right. In a video clip, which has recently made the rounds again on social media, shows pre-SEC Gensler discussing blockchain regulation at a 2019 MIT Bitcoin Expo in fireside chat with United States Securities and Exchange Commissioner Hester Pierce, which they are butting heads left and right now. Bitcoin futures and I think Ethereum futures and so forth will exist, and Bitcoin ETFs have not, and I feel that's a little inconsistent to me. It feels a little inconsistent, Gary Gensler said. So I strongly recommend you go watch this to show his sentiment on Bitcoin and crypto in general, and it's completely different than the Gensler we have in office right now. Even though the laws aren't exactly the same, they're quite similar, he added. Meanwhile, on Twitter, the crypto community couldn't help but highlight the contrast with Gensler's views towards spot Bitcoin exchange traded fund today. Gary Gensler says Gary Gensler is wrong. Market analysis Zach Bull posted. We missed out on chill and normal Gensler, another ex-user remarked. Gary Gensler says Gary Gensler is wrong. Today, the SEC has only approved a Bitcoin and ETH futures ETF. Since as far back as 2017, the SEC rejected spot Bitcoin ETF applications as a tradition carried on under Gensler, who has denied, delayed, or pushed back recent spot Bitcoin ETF applications, claiming the funds don't have protections for market manipulation. Excuse me. Gensler's SEC was sued by asset manager Grayscale for rejecting its bid to convert its existing Bitcoin trust into a spot ETF. A court ruled the SEC was arbitrary and capricious to reject the application. The SEC did not appeal the decision. There you go. It just shows the contradiction of what's going on in there in the SEC right now. It's odd because he keeps getting caught saying in videos saying the quite complete opposite of what he does right now. VanEck amends application for spot Bitcoin ETF. VanEck joins the group of asset managers updating applications for a spot Bitcoin ETF in the United States. Asset manager VanEck filed an amended application for a spot Bitcoin ETF on October 27th, the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, according to regulators' database. The amended filing highlights that a seed capital investor purchased in October the seed creation baskets, a block of 50,000 shares of the proposed ETF with Bitcoin price determined by market vector Bitcoin benchmark rate, an index used as a reference price of the cryptocurrency. According to finance lawyer Scott Johnson, the filing suggests the fund seeding will be carried out with Bitcoin, different from other spot Bitcoin ETF proposals with seeding in cash. A spot Bitcoin ETF would directly invest in Bitcoin. We all know this, as opposed to existing ETFs that invest in Bitcoin futures. The spot version of the product is expected to draw substantial investments from investors. Quality writing right here, guys. Seeking Bitcoin exposure via traditional asset managers. Oh, woman's laughing at me again. With this new filing, VanEck joins a growing list of asset managers updating their applications for a spot Bitcoin ETF. In September, Bitwise Asset Manager also filed an amended application responding to the SEC's objections to the product. Early this month, ARK Invest and 21 Shares amended their joint application as well, providing additional information about their proposed spot Bitcoin ETF, including practices for asset custody and valuation. The wave of amended filings may indicate that negotiations between asset managers and regulators are progressing. That's what I was saying earlier. Commenting on filings awaiting regulatory approval, ETF analyst Eric Balkunis recently noted the changes in ETF proposals may reflect SEC requests for issuers to address concerns. It means ARK got the SEC's comments and has dealt with them all, and now put the ball back in the SEC's court, Balkunis explained. Sorry, there's all sorts of weird quotes and hyphens and stuff in that quote. In my opinion, it's a good sign, solid progress. The US SEC has delayed its decision on several proposals for spot Bitcoin ETFs in the country, including, we all know this, BlackRock, Invesco, Bitwise, VanEck, Valkyrie. Market participants and analysts predict that a decision should be made within weeks. A lot of people are saying next month, which is only a couple days away. This could be huge. All right, guys, there's not a lot going on. That's kind of all I really found. All the other stuff was like AI stuff, things like that, not really 100% crypto related, so I didn't bring it up. Again, we're bouncing our heads on that 34,544 level. It has been strong resistance since we got to these levels. So keep your eye on it. Look for this downtrend, downward top of this trend to break. If we get a break to the upside, a potential retest, if not the top of this trend line, the top of 34,544 to bounce us onward and upward, potentially to 40K eventually. All right, guys, that's it. That's all I've got for you this morning. I'm going to go continue my vacation. Per usual, if you do enjoy the content I provide for you here every morning on Boring Crypto IO, please by all means subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell for notifications, watch the videos, share the videos on all your social platforms. Holy snap! This is our 200th video. What the hell am I doing with my life? Wow, man. It's kind of crazy, guys. Just under a year, and we are doing our 200th video here on Boring Crypto IO. That's pretty exciting. When I started this channel, I didn't know if I would continue to do it. I didn't know if it would grow. I mean, we are at 134 subscribers. That's not huge, but I do appreciate every single one of you. But rad, man. What a cool little milestone. To be sitting here in Florida on vacation, tied to a computer and a microphone at 6:30 in the morning, 7:30 in the morning, talking to you guys about crypto and making my 200th video. Word. Anyways, guys, outside of that, the biggest thing you do to help support this channel and support crypto is to like the videos. That way it'll push this content to more people. It'll expand the growth and adoption of crypto and expand the growth and adoption of Boring Crypto IO. But outside of that, guys, I will see you bright and early tomorrow morning. I am out of here.